Hey guys, welcome back to Dip Switch Demos. My name is Jackson and today we're going to have a little bit of an experiment. Basically the lowdown is I want to know whether I prefer tremolo before or after my reverb pedal. I've always used tremolo before reverb. Tremolo is one of my favourite effects and the two together are just a magical combination of like a nice spring type reverb to like a really nice subtle tremolo. I love that sound. So I've always used tremolo before reverb, but recently I've seen a few people online say that the only way to do it is have tremolo after reverb. Doesn't quite make sense in my head because the tremolo will be cutting off the reverb trails, but if other people are doing it, I really want to try it out. Reason number two why I'm doing this video is because I've recently borrowed this Seymour Duncan shapeshifter, and I have it on good authority that this is one of the best tremolo pedals out there. It's a bit of a sleeper. I haven't heard of it before. I actually think there's a new version that's come out since this version here, but I've heard that this version is absolutely killer. So we're going to try that out, that pedal as well. I didn't want to do a full demo on that pedal, so I just thought we'd do a little fun video with them. So the pedals that I will be using are my Chase Bliss Gravitas as the tremolo before the reverb. The reverb we'll be using is the TC Electronic Hall of Fame 2, and then after the Hall of Fame we'll be going into the shapeshifter and then into the amp, which is set completely dry. Let's have a go. Here's my dry signal. By the way, I'm playing this beautiful Fidelity Guitars JB. Hopefully there's a video on the channel already on this guitar. You should definitely go check it out. My clean signal with no reverb, no tremolo sounds like this. Cool. I like that clean sound. That's just the neck pickup. We'll probably stay around the neck pickup on the guitar just for continuity's sake. So let's throw on the reverb. This is a tone print that pedal show made. It's kind of a spring type reverb. I've set it up more obvious than I usually would, just so we can hear the effects of the two together. But here's the reverb. Cool, I really like that reverb tone print. I think it sounds great for a digital pedal. Obviously you can tell it's still digital and stuff, but I really enjoy that tone print. That's kind of my always on reverb. In fact, I use it over the reverb in my amp anyway. So yeah, that's the reverb. So now I'm going to chuck on the Gravitas, which is before the reverb. Now this is how I would always set it. I may jump up the depth just a teensy little bit, and this is kind of my subtle tremolo and reverb combination. I love that sound. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and it's going to have to be something pretty special to beat that with the tremolo after. So let's jump to the shapeshifter. Now the shapeshifter seems to be pretty ahead of its time. I don't know how old this pedal is, maybe 10 or so years, but as you can see on there, there's a lot going on. Well, reasonably, not so much compared to the Gravitas, but there is a lot going on there for tremolo pedal. We have depth, a shape of the waveform, which is a feature on the Gravitas where you can kind of adjust where the center point of the peak of the waveform is. Then we also have a knob to adjust the shape of the kind of general shape of the waveform, so we can go from sine to triangle to square. And then we also have a rate or ratio knob. So yeah, this is a reasonably old analog tremolo pedal with tap tempo. So it's pretty ahead of its time if you ask me. This is everything at 12 o'clock. Let's see how it sounds. Actually, we will turn the reverb off for now, and let's just hear how this sounds and get a tone that we like. Okay, I like that. I like that. Let's switch between the two. I know that we're obviously using two different tremolo pedals. They're not going to sound the same, but this is just for experiment's sake. So this is the Gravitas. And then this is the shapeshifter. Just trying to match up the tempos a little bit. Okay, cool. Differences in the pedal in the first place. The Gravitas has a preamp in it. You can hear that it is retaining a bit more of that top end in there. Also with the shapeshifter, you might be losing a little bit of volume just because of the nature of tremolo. But it sounds great. It sounds really nice. It's really smooth tremolo, really warm. I'm liking it. So let's throw the reverb back on, and just so you guys can remember, let's have the Gravitas before. So you can hear that the tremolo isn't affecting the trails at all. So let's throw on the shapeshifter with the reverb. So it's kind of doing almost exactly what I thought it would. It sounds nicer than I thought it would. So as you can hear, the tremolo is much more pronounced. It's also affecting the trails. I honestly don't know which one I prefer. Let's go back to the Gravitas before. I do think I still prefer the tremolo before. I think there's a bit of argument online about whether in old Fender amps the tremolo was before or after the reverb. I've always thought that the tremolo came before the reverb in the old Fender amps, but I've seen people online say the opposite, so obviously don't believe everything you read on the internet, but that's kind of what I've heard. I think the reverb comes before the tremolo in old amps. And I think that's the sound I prefer as well. So here we go again. Here's the shapeshifter after the Hall of Fame. It's a nice sound. There's nothing wrong with, if you wanted to use your tremolo pedal after the reverb pedal, I think it's fine. It's a little harder if you're running reverb in your amp. You kind of don't really have that option. You've always got to use tremolo before. But you know, if you're using a reverb pedal, why don't you try it out, the tremolo afterwards? Just while we've got the shapeshifter here, let's see how kind of crazy this pedal can get. I'm going to turn up the settings a little bit. Let's turn it all the way to square wave, and let's do this and see what we get. I've heard that this pedal can get pretty wacky, so let's hear what we got here. it's still affecting those reverb trails. That's a crazy sound. Pretty unusable, I suppose. Really nice tremolo pedal. I think after I've turned the cameras off, I'm gonna swap that in before my Hall of Fame and just see how I like it with other things. It's a really nice warm tremolo, like I said. But I'm glad I did this little experiment. I do still prefer the tremolo before the reverb, but that's personal preference. I think it's a great option for you guys if you wanted to try a different sound out. Put your tremolo pedal after your reverb pedal. That's all from me, guys, so please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.